I want to talk to you about something that's very important to me because we have these election landscapes in the United States. And Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, the state that William Penn had a covenant with God over, it grieves me to see it being run by corrupt regimes. I don't trust what they're doing there. They've got more energy in Pennsylvania. They could rival Texas in terms of their capacity. There could be an economic renaissance, but they don't have leadership. And the guy that they've got running, Dr. Oz, it just got Trump's endorsement, only because he has name visibility, and Trump's got this challenge here, what to do. But he's not the guy that should, in my opinion, should be there. First of all, I think he's Muslim. And so it doesn't make a difference to me if he's Muslim or Christian. But for those of you that are all Dr. Oz enthusiasts, you don't even know all the facts. I don't even think he lived in Pennsylvania. I think his wife lived in Pennsylvania. He practiced in New York and lived in New Jersey. So he's schmoozing the pub. Man, we do not need, if we have strong, qualified patriots that understand Trump and worked with him, that's what we should be talking to. For that reason, I'm going to give you somebody you probably need to hear about. Ambassador Carla Sands from Pennsylvania. She was the ambassador for Trump's administration with Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. Is intensely involved with all aspects of defense and infrastructure and energy. And so this is somebody we need to talk to. Thank you so much for joining us, Ambassador Sands.
Thanks, Lance. It's so nice to talk to you. Thank you for welcoming me, and thanks to your viewers.
So tell us about what it is that you bring to this race that the War Room and the Real America's Voice people need to know about. What are you bringing in here? Because we got to get you some equal time out there.
Thank you very much. Well, certainly I bring qualifications nobody else on either side of the aisle has. I worked to counter Russia and China. No one else did. And I worked with the Department of Defense and NATO. And our team was so successful countering Russia and China that the Department of Defense gave me their highest civilian honor. It's called the Medal for Distinguished Public Service. I also worked to increase American jobs and increase our trade. We don't have a level playing field around the world. And we increased our trade over 43% while I was the U.S. ambassador to Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands, working from 2017 until 2021 at that job, working in Copenhagen on behalf of all Americans. But I'm a pro-life, pro-First Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, constitutional, conservative, and America first businesswoman and Christian and mom. But I'm also an 8th generation Pennsylvanian, and my Pennsylvania ancestors, they fought in the American Revolution and in the Civil War. And I think for you and your viewers today, for all of us, this is our time to fight for the heart and soul of our great country, the light on the shining hill that is being diminished by the radical left that's at war with everything that we share, our values, our beliefs, our economy. There are so many points. We're called to be the salt and the light in the air, in the world and in our government, and we left it to the left, and now we're reaping the consequences. We must step up, and we must bring our country back to our Judeo-Christian heritage and our rights, whether it's our constitutional rights, our religious rights, our rights to free speech. Look what they're doing, Lance, right now to Elon Musk when he proposes to take Twitter private and actually make it a free speech platform.
Yeah, they're having a meltdown over it. I mean, they're freaking out over it. But of course, Elon, he does his. I love him. He's a bit Trumpian. Like he advised that maybe they should take their San Francisco office and turn it into a homeless shelter, because everybody's working remotely anyway. So let's do something with this square footage. But he's the right guy, but God is raising up people like him. And I believe you also are one of those candidates. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene is our kind of like, it's like a yin yang. She's our answer to the AOCs out there. We have equal time now with someone who has the guts to speak about my concern with Dr. Oz and his centrist and murky kind of affiliation. He doesn't have a history with us. I haven't heard him speaking up over the last, since Trump was in. I didn't hear him throw the gauntlet down once and be quoted in a controversial. He's kind of like an entertainer version of a politician. And so, for instance, with the women's sports thing, I can't see. Here's a doctor. I don't know what his position is on this thing, but we need a woman who can come out strong about protecting women in women's sports. There's an issue like Disney right now. Thank God for Ron DeSantis. But we need people that will be like you if you'll be that person. What's your take on what's going on with women's sports, just while we're talking about it?
Well, I wrote an op-ed and said males don't belong in female sports. Absolutely. And we know that I am the only America First candidate that was actually America First since 2016 and helped President Trump get elected, understanding he stood for the same things that we stand for. He promised us conservative Supreme Court justices, and we got it. He's promised to secure the border. He did. We had peace around the world and record levels of employment, especially for women and minorities. One of my competitors, Mehmet Oz, actually served as in the Turkish military, not the U.S. military. He put Turkey first, became a Turkish citizen after he was born in America and served in their military. But he's come out in favor of transgender minor surgeries. He has been weak on the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, and as a matter of fact, life. He's promoted CRT, critical race theory, and Black Lives Matter agitation publicly. I have a public record as well. I've been a conservative activist all my adult life and worked hard to help Republicans get elected over the years. But the problem is that it seems many of them are not holding the line against the left. They're not fighting back. They're on defense.
No, and they
need to be on offense.
They can't with listen, if they're on record that way, this is a disaster. What is my president Trump doing, even endorsing this guy? I know he's doing calculus. He's a business guy, but I'm believing that he got an unlikely support that even the left didn't expect, and I'm believing you're going to have an unlikely surge of support too. They always underestimate the patriot Christian movement. We are bigger than any other group. Trump knows it. You know, if you're like me, you're listening to all this technological input. Now, I'm a baby boomer. I admit that. I'm on the north side of a lot of baby boomers. I'm in my 60s, and ExpressVPN starts popping up on my devices and making a compelling argument that I need to have security. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly even sure what I'm VPNing. So I contact my team because I've got a crack group of producers and technical people that run this whole program. And Chelsea now is going to help me understand, what does ExpressVPN do, Chelsea? And why are we putting this on our phones and on our computers and in our office?
Well, the reason I started using an ExpressVPN personally was because every time you go online, you go on the internet, they're taking your data and stealing it, right? Like they're taking your data, they're selling it to this company, that company. Google's
they?
Selling Google,
Oh.
Facebook, whoever owns Twitter, all those people. Anytime you go on there and like you go into Google and you type in what you're searching for, they take that and they sell it. And they start using that to track you, track your friends. That's why if you have a conversation, like if I have a conversation with Mercedes about slippers, she Googles slippers. Well, I'm going to start getting ads for slippers because they see how much time we spend together. And so what ExpressVPN does is it anonymizes you on the internet. So if she goes online with the ExpressVPN turned on her phone, it's real simple, then Google can't track her Googling for slippers.
Oh, is it like another browser though, Chelsea?
No, it's not another browser. It's actually super simple. I didn't realize it was so simple when I downloaded it. So you just download it as an app on your phone and you turn it on and it runs in the background.
Oh.
But it is protecting you.
Yeah, it is protecting you. Yeah, it's super easy. I can even show you on my phone. So I turn it on and I open up the ExpressVPN app and you see green, it's turned on. So anytime you text someone, like even when I'm like texting Mercedes, like, hey, this, that, you know, blah, 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 it's not tracking it. It's not taking that data.
How?
And my favorite thing, for example, I like to watch some British television and I can't always watch it when I want to watch it. Like Call the Midwife. It's releasing right now in England.
Oh my gosh, my wife watches that.
I know,
it's so traumatized.
It's so good.
Come home for dinner and it's like women are in like breech birth or something.
I know it's my husband doesn't understand. But you can change your location on here to say, hey, I'm in England. And then you can watch the show you want to watch
Oh,
in the other
that's
country.
that's very millennial sneaky of you.
So that's my favorite thing. So number one, they're not selling my data. Number two, I can watch whatever I
All right,
want
so
to
you
watch.
can go to expressvpn.com/Lance, expressvpn.com/Lance, and you can get all these valuable hacks as well. And you're going to be able to protect your data and your privacy, which is increasingly important as we see the beast system approaching. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. This is just a segment out of our entire podcast, but I'd love to give you access to the entire broadcast, and it's going to be at lancewallnau.com/podcast. Go there, and you can sign up and get the entire unedited, uncensored message.